Yes. Can can you tell me about something about the sun?
Um, okay, so the sun is in the middle of its life. It has 5 billion years to go. So, and then, okay, so the sun, I'm going to tell you kind of the whole history about the sun.
Okay.
So, the sun is in the middle of its life right now. It has 5 billion years to go. A star's total life is 10 billion years. And then after 5 billion years, the earth will die when the sun will die. So yes, suns do die because sun is a star, and as stars go, they get born, they grow up, and then they die. And then, so how the sun will die is that, so in the core it burns fuel, and then it sends the fuel to the outer exterior part of the sun to make heat.
Mm-hmm.
And then after about 5 billion years, it's gonna start losing its heat because it's gonna kind of use up all the fuel from its core. And then the turn will start getting red, and it will grow big. Right now the sun is a dwarf star. A dwarf star is the smallest type of stars. The sun is a star, and the dwarf stars are the smallest type of stars. Giant stars are like in the middle, kind of bigger than a dwarf star, but like not as big as supergiant stars. Supergiant stars are the biggest stars. They are huge. And then, so after when the sun starts losing its fuel, it it's it's gonna grow into a supergiant star and turn red. Red is the coolest type of stars because it just loses its fuel. Blue stars are the hottest stars. 5 billion years ago, the sun was a blue star and it was really hot. And then, so it's gonna turn into a red star and it's gonna grow really big, really just huge, okay? And then because it's gonna lose fuel from its core, and then it grows big, and then when it grows big, it's gonna kind of just swallow the earth because it's gonna grow so big, it's gonna go past Earth's orbit. And then and then when it grows big enough, it's gonna explode into a big explosion, and then it's gonna turn into a white little dwarf star. So white stars are in between yellow stars. Yeah, well, I forgot to tell you. Yellow stars are in the middle between blue. They're not too hot like blue stars and not too cool like red stars. They're in the middle of their life, just like our sun is. And then white stars are kind of hotter than yellow stars. And when the sun explodes 5 billion years later, it's going to turn into a white star. It may leave a nebula. A nebula is the gas formed by a star's explosion. And there are two things that the sun can do. It can either collapse into itself by the pressure from the gas around it and become a black hole, because most black holes happen in the center of the Milky Way because all the entire Milky Way are putting pressure on it, so it becomes like a supermassive black hole. And or else the sun would probably just like turn into little other particles, I think. I'm not really sure, but when the sun explodes and makes a nebula, usually nebulas take some shapes. For example, there are different kinds of nebulas that get different kind of shapes. And then from those nebulas, there are gas and dust, and when those gas and dust put pressure on themselves, they can form a star and planets that are orbiting the star. And that's when a new solar systems make. And then when a really big star explodes and lots of other stars explode with it, it makes so much gas, and so much stars and planets that it can even create a new galaxy.
Oh. So what's a sun actually made up of?
Um, Two gases, hydrogen and helium,
Okay.
and fuel from inside its core. So from its core, the fuel kind of just rises to the exterior part of it, and then it just like the fuel rises really slow, like really slowly, and then when it like comes to the outer part of the sun, it can travel to Earth in about just 8 minutes. So
Okay.
it goes really
So
fast.
how does we find the distance between the sun and the earth? So
Um, I guess you can use how big an object is, I guess, and maybe their pull of gravity, I think.
or something like time distance
Yeah, I think no, not
using
light
the
years.
light distance,
I think you can like.
light year or eco.
Oh yeah, yes, you can use echo mapping, because there you can use echo mapping by sound and light, so the time it gets to travel to Earth.
Okay. Yeah.
and and then I think you can estimate how much far it is.
How much distance it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what else you can tell me about the astronomy and all?
So there's another thing about astronomy, that like there's sort of some space time, like, okay, so what Albert Einstein discovered was that like there's some kind of a graph. So okay, so like, take a trampoline for example. If you put a little teeny tiny ball on the trampoline bends. That's space time. That bend, it's like that trampoline is kind of the flat thing on space time, and it bends it. And then when you put a larger ball on it, it like bends deeper. It like makes more width. And then put that small bulb around the trampoline, and then it kind of orbits the large ball and goes to the middle. Now, that's the exact thing what like holds gravity. The gravity keeps the orbiting the little ball around in place while the big ball is in the center. Now, the little ball isn't just gonna like roll down to the big ball like it does on our trampoline, but because but for example, take the moon. The gravity held from the Earth holds the moon, and the moon is orbiting around us as for the little ball on a trampoline. And then what like bends in underneath that's space time. Now for a black hole, the black hole has so much pressure, it bends like really low down. So like if you put a ball down there, then it's almost impossible to get it out. Like it's that low into space time.
Okay.
So it's kind of a bend.
Okay. So it's really nice to talk with you, Afia, about all this astronomy and all. It's really nice information you have shared with us. So thank you so much. Bye.